Hey guys, this is Kalen Richardson, and you're watching my review of the recently completed Hawkeye miniseries, another one of Marvel Studios' Disney Plus series that focuses on, well, Hawkeye. Once again, the first segment of the video will be spoiler-free, and then once I've gotten my spoiler-free summary out of the way, I'll be talking spoilers for the remainder of the video up until the final verdict. If you haven't seen all 6 episodes of Hawkeye yet, use the timestamps in the description to skip through the spoiler section so that you can see the verdict and score after viewing the spoiler-free section. Hawkeye is a fun, low-stakes Marvel show that finally gives some well-deserved attention to one of the most underrated MCU characters, and certainly the most underrated Avenger. The show knows exactly what it is, and isn't trying to impress the audience by pretending it's something it isn't. Jeremy Renner is great, finally getting the chance to play his character in a lead role, and MCU newcomer Hailee Steinfeld is charismatic in the role of Kate Bishop. However, the great chemistry between Renner and Steinfeld's character will easily distract you from the uninspired storytelling. Now, it isn't bad, in fact, the writing and storytelling is, for the most part, fun to watch. It just isn't as compelling as the first solo outing of a legacy MCU character deserves. Delving into a story that, really, is only street level is something different for Marvel, and also for the character of Hawkeye, who is fresh off saving the universe in Avengers Endgame. Although, to be fair, a solo story featuring a man with a bow and an arrow probably doesn't deserve to have stakes that affect the entire world. As I said before, Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye is great again, as Renner manages to bring depth to the character that was only really shown previously in Avengers Endgame. Hailee Steinfeld is charming as Kate Bishop, and what's great about Bishop is that she actually has to learn how to use her skills and makes mistakes along the way, unlike many other superhero trainees or successes in recent years. And although the story is simple, it at least has a sense of urgency with probably one of the more relatable motives in the MCU. For Hawkeye to return home to his family in time for Christmas. For my final, spoiler-free thoughts, I say go watch this show on Disney Plus, as it's a fun, low-key Marvel production. However, you probably don't need to be in any rush to see it, just watch it at your own pace. Alright, this is your final warning. From here, I'll be talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen all 6 episodes of Hawkeye and don't want to be spoiled, skip to the final score using the timestamps in the description, and then watch the spoiler section after watching the show. Side note, there are also minor spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. You've been warned. Straight away, the show throws us into the action. The flashbacks to the Battle of New York are great, as seeing cool moments from another angle is always fun, and the fact that it manages to sync up pretty well with the first Avengers movie gets it even more points. Soon after this, we are introduced to Kate Bishop, who is Clint Barton's successor as Hawkeye in the comics, who later makes the mistake of wearing the Ronin costume, which puts her on the Russian Mafia's radar, as their leader, Echo, is hunting Ronin to avenge the murder of her father. At the same time, Clint Barton, better known as Hawkeye, interrupts his family's Christmas in order to go and help Bishop, as Hawkeye used to be Ronin during the 5-year gap between Infinity War and Endgame. This is a pretty good setup to the series, as it shows us that we don't need to expect anything beyond street level stakes, and lets us know what to expect from the series. The leader of the Russian Mafia, Echo, also known as Maya Lopez and played by Alaqua Cox, is an alright antagonist. In the comics, Echo is the adoptive daughter of crime lord Wilson Fisk, better known as Kingpin. However, in this series her father is not Fisk, but rather Fisk is the true leader of the Russian Mafia and Echo's uncle. And let's talk about Fisk's return. As a fan of Daredevil, it was awesome to see that the talent of Vincent D'Onofrio was not wasted, or rather, at least hopefully it wasn't. D'Onofrio was fantastic, and he returned to the role as if he never left it. That ending scene though, has a lot of fans worried. I'm leaning towards the side that he isn't dead, as that exact scene played out in the comics, and Fisk was then later revealed to be alive, with the side effect of temporary blindness. Also, Kingpin is a huge character in the Echo mythos, and seeing as Echo is getting her own spin-off miniseries, it's likely they'll bring D'Onofrio back, and Fisk with him. It just feels way too soon to kill off such a huge character, especially since Charlie Cox was also just brought back as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think I speak for all the fans when I say these two need to reunite on screen again. Also, pitting Kingpin against Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a must, although since Spider-Man doesn't have the help of Stark Tech anymore, D'Onofrio's Fisk in all likelihood would wipe the floor with him. No, in seriousness, it would be a huge missed opportunity if Fisk doesn't get more screen time with these two characters soon. Another good returning character was Florence Pugh as Yelena. She, again, was great in the role, and like Kate Bishop, doesn't come across as an annoying, flawless successor to a popular character. She had some good emotional moments with Hawkeye, as because of her actions they were both forced to relive Natasha Romanoff's death all over again. Well, technically Yelena was only hearing about it for the first time, but the scene still worked. Hawkeye developing hearing problems is probably one of the most realistic things in the MCU, as it reminds us that Hawkeye isn't some invincible hero, just a man that is Clint Barton. Yeah, he's a man with extraordinary abilities with a bow and arrow, but at the end of the day he's human, has human flaws, and has a human family to return to. It helps to better immerse ourselves in this series and see ourselves in the main protagonist, which really is exactly what you should be doing with your lead character. As for a final rating, I think Hawkeye was a good little show that worked where it worked, but was held down where it didn't. Fortunately, its shortcomings weren't frequent, and the show easily distracted you with the great chemistry between Renner and Steinfeld's characters. Personally, I hope the show is renewed for a second season, and I think it would be cool if the MCU finally adapts Hawkeye's arch-nemesis, William Cross, aka Crossfire, who just so happens to be the cousin of an already established villain, Yellow Jacket. Anyway, we're getting off topic. For a final score out of 10, I'm going to have to give Hawkeye a solid 7.5, and I'll again say that you should watch the show, but at your own pace, as it provides a nice continuation to the story of Hawkeye, and specifically what was already established in Avengers